Hello, good morning, dear students. Yesterday we have studied the introduction to logic families, and under that you know what do we mean by digital IC, how they are classified, levels of integrations. With this introduction we have studied the classification of logic families. Now today we have to proceed further. Today we have to take into account the performance parameters of logic family. As far as logic families are concerned, to compare the performance of different logic families, some parameters are used. Near about 10 to 11 different parameters are used. Here I have listed all the corresponding parameters. Number one is speed of operation, then power dissipation, figure of merit, fan in and fan out, noise immunity, current and voltage levels, operating temperature range, power supply requirement, logic flexibilities available, and the cost of the corresponding family. Now all these different parameters we have to take into account one by one. From that point of view, the first parameter I will take into account known as speed of operation. Speed of operation. The speed of any IC or logic family is defined in terms of propagation delay, shortly abbreviated as TPD. As far as propagation delay is concerned, it is the average amount of time taken by the IC or logic gate to produce the output after application of input. Just here we say that it is the amount of time required to produce the output, after application of input, input signal. The output of any logic circuit either goes to logic high from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, and therefore the propagation delay time is given by TPD is equal to TPLH added with TPHL divided by 2 and is measured in terms of nanoseconds. This is a mathematical relation which will give the value of propagation delay, where TPLH is the time delay between the input and output when the output goes from low to high, whereas TPHL is the time delay generated when the output goes from high to low, and average of these two times is nothing but the value of propagation delay. As far as propagation delay is concerned, it is measured in terms of nanoseconds. And the speed of operation is inversely proportional to the propagation delay. That is also important. Therefore, here I will write the relation that speed is inversely proportional to the value of propagation delay. What it indicates now? For smaller values of propagation delay, you are getting the greater speed. and therefore speed of any digital IC or gate or family mainly depends upon the value of propagation delay. Lastly, you remember propagation delay always puts the limit on switching speed or the frequency of operation. This statement is very useful. Here I will write in brief only. Important statement is propagation delay puts a limit on switching speed or operating frequency. Anyway, I think everybody has understood what do we mean by speed of operation. Actually, the values of time delays, that is TPH and TPL, they are measured with respect to input and output waveform at 50% level. Therefore, if you see the corresponding figures, input and output, suppose we have taken a NOT gate and we have applied a square wave pulse like this. This is a input. Now across the output of NOT gate, here you are getting the pulse like this. Inverted pulse you are getting. 50% levels of that are indicated like this. 50% levels. Now the time delay between the input and output, here we are calling this particular time delay as TPHL. Here the output changes from high to low, whereas this much amount of time delay, here the output changes from low to high, and therefore this is known as TPLH. Average value of these two time delays is nothing but the propagation delay. I think there is no need to go into the details of that. But the operating speed of any logic family mainly depends upon the value of propagation delay. Now I will take into account the second parameter known as power dissipation. Here I will write power dissipation, shortly abbreviated as later, that is PD. It is the amount of power consumed or dissipated by the IC or logic gate. It is the amount of power consumed or dissipated by the gate or IC. As far as power dissipation is concerned, it is the product of supply voltage and average current. It is the product of supply voltage and current, average current. Supply voltage and average current. Therefore, we can able to write the relation for PD as VCC into ICC. But the ICC is having an average value. Therefore, here we say that PD is equal to VCC multiplied by ICCL plus ICCH divided by 2. and this power dissipation is in the order of milliwatts, where ICCL is the current taken by the IC or device when the output is in low state, whereas ICCH is the current taken by the IC whenever the output is in high state. These values are different and therefore its average value is taken. Anyway, just to remember that power dissipation is also playing an important role, is in the order of milliwatts, and the low value of power dissipation are always advantageous. Therefore, lastly I will write low value of PD is always desirable. PD is always desirable. I think you have understood the second parameter also. Here I have described is nothing but a power dissipation. Then the third parameter is figure of merit. Figure of merit. The figure of merit of a logic gate or IC is the product of speed and power. Also known as speed power product. Therefore, we can able to write the relation for it. You know, speed is measured in the form of propagation delay, and power is in the order of power dissipation is in the order of milliwatt. Therefore, we can able to write the relation for figure of merit. Figure of merit equal to propagation delay multiplied by the power dissipation. Multiplied by the power dissipation. Now you know propagation delay is in the order of nanoseconds. Power dissipation is in the order of milliwatt. Therefore, you are getting the product in the form of nano multiplied by milli. You are getting pico, and power figure of merit is nothing but also known as PJ product. Picojoules. We will call it as a picojoules. Some people may call it as a figure of merit. Anyway, I think you have understood the meaning of what do you mean by figure of merit, also known as speed power product. Then we will proceed further. Now I will take into account the next parameter as fan in. Fan in. The maximum number of inputs that can be accepted by the logic gate without producing the false output is measured in terms of a parameter known as fan in. Fan in. The maximum number of inputs accepted by the gate without false triggering. Without false triggering. What is the meaning of that? How many number of inputs for the logic gate or IC you can apply reliably is defined in terms of fan-in. Now if you take into account, for example, AND gate, NAND gate, maximally you can able to apply the number of inputs not more than 15 in case of TTL family. From that point of view, just to remember the meaning of what do you mean by fan-in. Then we will proceed towards the another important parameter known as fan-out. Fan-out of a logic family is defined as the maximum number of loads a logic gate can drive reliably. It is also known as loading factor. As far as fan-out is concerned, how many similar loads you can connect across the logic gate or IC is defined in terms of fan-out, and the relation for fan-out is given by the ratio of output current to the input current in low state or high state, IOH upon IIH. You can define for low state or high state, and is the ratio of output current to the input current. Remember that, for example, for TTL family has fan-out of 10. In TTL the fan-out value is 10, meaning is that any TTL gate can maximally drive the similar gates in the order of 10, without producing false triggering or output. High value of fan-out is always advantageous because it avoids the need of additional drivers. Very important statement is high fan-out is always advantageous because it avoids the use of additional buffers. Drivers advantageous because it avoids the need of additional drivers. In this way, I think we have remembered, in short, the important parameter of logic family known as fan-out. Now I will proceed towards the next important parameter known as noise immunity. Noise immunity. The ability of device or circuit to tolerate the noise signals is defined in terms of a parameter known as noise immunity. The ability of the circuit to tolerate the unwanted signals, unwanted noise signals is defined in terms of noise immunity, is defined in terms of noise immunity. As far as noise immunity is concerned, actually it is expressed in terms of noise margin. What do you mean by noise margin? Again, you have to remember. Noise margin is the maximum induced noise voltage that can be tolerated by the IC or logic gate. Maximum induced noise voltage that can be tolerated by the IC, that can be tolerated by the IC or gate. This is known as noise margin. Actually, it is a voltage generated by the noise signals, and whatever its maximum value that can be tolerated by the IC or gate is nothing but actually noise immunity of the corresponding family. There are two types of noise margins: low level noise margin and high level noise margin. We are not interested to obtain the relations for that. But two types of noise margins are there, known as VNL, and is the difference between VIL maximum minus VOL maximum. On the other hand, high noise immunity VNH in high state is defined as VOH minimum minus VIH minimum. Now these are the different types of logic levels provided by the manufacturer. Now if you take the difference between these voltages, you are getting noise immunity, low noise immunity and high noise immunity. For example, in TTL family has VNL is equal to VNH, which is equal to 0.4 volt. In TTL family, these noise immunities are having a value of 0.4 volt. Means what? Our TTL ICs can tolerate the maximum induced noise voltage in the order of 0.4 volt. Now if you go towards the CMOS logic family, this value is in the order of 1.5 volt. Noise margin is high in case of CMOS logic family. Anyway, at least you remember, very important factor of logic family is nothing but a noise immunity. That here I have explained in brief only. Whatever the parameters up till now I have discussed, all they are important from exam point of view also. Now I will proceed towards the remaining parameters: current and voltage levels. Current and voltage levels. Voltage levels, logic levels actually. Now depending upon the high or low states, there is a two input parameters known as VIL and VIH. Again, you are getting 4 different values. VIL, minimum input voltage, treated as a low state. This is treated as a high state. Similarly, related with the outputs, you are getting 2 values, VOL and VOH. VOL and VOH. Now, these are the voltage levels of any logic family. Similarly, you are getting current levels as IIL, then we say that IIH. Here we say that IOL and IOH. Similar to 4 voltage levels, you are getting 4 current logic levels. Related with VCC and ICC, you are getting ICCH and ICCL. Anyway, all these are the logic levels we can define independently also. But today, at least you remember that concerning with any logic family, there are different types of voltage levels and current levels. And while designing the circuits, you have to take into account these values which are provided by the manufacturer. Then next parameter is nothing but operating temperature range. Operating temperature range. Whenever you are using digital ICs in the design from various logic families, their operating range is playing an important role. Generally, 2 operating ranges are provided for consumer and industrial applications. The operating temperature range is the range over which the IC or device can function properly. It is the range of temperature over which the IC can operate reliably. Two different temperature ranges are there. Number one is 0 to 70 degrees Celsius and is known as consumer and industrial range. Most of the time we are using the ICs from consumer and industrial range. There is another range known as 55 degrees Celsius to plus 125 degrees Celsius and is known as military range. This is a wide range. These ICs are used for military applications, whereas in normal applications we are using the ICs having a temperature range of 0 to 70 degrees Celsius. As far as TTL family is concerned, you know 2 different series are there, 74XX series and 54 series. 54 series is related with the military range, whereas 74 series is related with the consumer and industrial range. Anyway, operating temperature range is also playing an important parameter of the logic family. Then the next parameter which we have to discuss is a power supply requirement. Power supply requirement. For the operation of any digital IC, there is need of a power supply, and for the corresponding family, the power supply requirements are similar. You do any function, any IC, but the different ICs will operate on the same power supplies. For example, in TTL, the power supply range is only 5 volts, DC power supply. From that point of view, for operation of ICs, there is need of power supply, and the requirement is provided by the manufacturer. For example, TTL ICs uses plus 5 volt DC regulated power supply. And this is a standard value of power supply. Any TTL IC can work on 5 volt power supply. On the other hand, if you go towards CMOS, CMOS can be operated on 3 volt also. Wide supply range is there, from 3 volt to 15 volt. Then next parameter is logic flexibilities. Logic flexibilities. As far as logic flexibilities are concerned, in that you have to remember the breadth of series. Breadth of series means what? The variety of large functions available in the logic family. We are calling it as a breadth of series. Then types of outputs available. Types of outputs. For example, totem pole, open collector and tri-state. Variety of outputs are available. Then complementary outputs. Some logic family ICs will provide complementary outputs, thereby avoiding the use of inverters. Some logic ICs families are there, for example, open collector devices. They can drive the loads like relays or lamps directly. So whatever may be the additional facilities provided in the corresponding logic families, we are calling it as logic flexibilities. And last parameter is nothing but a cost. You know, cost of the IC is playing an important role in the design. Therefore, depending upon the applications and requirements, you have to select the ICs from proper family. In this way, just to remember, to study the performance of any logic family, you have to take into account all these 10 to 11 different parameters. As far as examination is concerned, according to my view, the speed of operation, power dissipation, figure of merit, fan in and fan out, noise humidity, all are playing an important role. Remaining are also important to consider, but from exam point of view, you prepare the first 5 to 6 parameters. I hope that you have understood the different parameters related with the logic family so that you can compare the performance of different logic families. Now with this information, today we will stop here only. Next time we have to study the different types of logic families one by one. From that we have to study TTL, then CMOS, and lastly we have to take the help of ECL. Okay? Today we will stop only here only. Okay? Thank you for listening.